Well, that was fun while it lasted. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode on my channel. As always, I'm Jay, and guys, here I am to dish my thoughts on Season 1 of She-Hulk in its entirety. Now, I'm not giving a huge play-by-play on every single episode, but I will be speaking about some spoilers if you haven't seen the show. And, yeah, I'm going to be giving my honest thoughts on it, and just, buckle down, bear with it, and if you can't, then bye-bye. That's all I'm going to say. So, let's get rid of the biggest elephant in the room first. That finale was god-awful. Well, half of it was god-awful. Actually, no, it was all god-awful. In my opinion, we were coming off of the best episode with Daredevil in the mix, and Charlie Cox is always awesome as Daredevil, and Daredevil in anything is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. But then we had this weird-ass freaking half, rushed and half, slowed episode where we went too far. We went too meta. When you have your main character kind of freeze and say, hey, this isn't my story. Are we really doing this? This is messy. And then all of a sudden you have her break Disney Plus, confront her own writers, and then go and see Kevin, which turns out to be a robot instead of actual Kevin Feige. Now that I'm thinking about it, if Kevin Feige was the person she actually met and she had a cup of coffee or had lunch with the guy and actually talked it out face to face, I would have actually enjoyed that, and I would have given this show a much better rating than what I'm about to give it. And let me preface this, because in my first episode, I mentioned about all the different things that the show was doing to make it cringe and whatnot. Yet, I still enjoyed the show despite all of the things telling me I should hate it. And that did not change whatsoever throughout the entire series. Throughout the show, you're getting a silly, absurd, entertaining perspective of lawyer life with someone who is a superpowered Hulk being. People were championing this as a new step in woke and pro-feminism, shows and media, whatever you want to call it. Meanwhile, the other end of the spectrum was the quote-unquote trolls who might have had a actual valid argument on certain things, like the CGI being god-awful in some episodes or unfinished. Then you have people trolling the show saying that it sucks, it's a man-hating thing, it's this. I'm like, I didn't read into that. And listen, by the time you get to the Megan Thee Stallion episode and you see the end credit scene where she's twerking with her, you already know that you're not in for this groundbreaking, freaking amazing show that has good moral lessons and is just a great kind of moral compass for people to be watching. No, it's a show that is self-aware. It's going for broke on silliness and entertainment value. But obviously you also have the other flip side of that, which it tried to be smarter than the audience at certain points. I thought it was equal parts cringe and equal parts hilarious and funny and entertaining. And the thing of it is that with the smaller episodes, I felt like we got streamlined episodes where there was a lot more jam-packed, and we didn't dwell on the stupid stuff, the political stuff, the shit that someone has to go out of their way to make a comment about, until we got to the intelligentsia subplots, where the writers felt a need to let the trolls rent free headspace and kind of dwell on all this stuff, which I think affected the writing to the point where they were trying to call what people would criticize the show for, and thought that was clever to some degree, which that got stale really, really fast. What didn't get stale was having odd and end characters coming in and out, having the main character basically say one thing and do another to show that she really wasn't, a know-it-all, even though she acted like it, and to kind of go through her own trials and tribulations. Oh yeah, and Daredevil was the best cameo inside of the entire series, in my opinion. Although Wong's appearances were pretty hilarious, especially when he was going against Donnie Blaze. That's right, Donnie Blaze, because we want to trigger you with that Blaze name, even though it's not Johnny, who would be Ghost Rider, which would be more awesome. But I digress. So between the multiple payoffs that didn't happen, like the Wrecking Crew and the whole blood plot which went nowhere, to the point where we needed to shove a messed up haircutted Scar in the last episode of the entire series. No, but for real, they messed up my man's hair over there. He's supposed to have a long mane of hair, and they just gave him some type of up, like, curly Larry Fine type of shit going on. I don't know what the that was, for real. For me, She-Hulk was one of those little offshoots of Marvel where, in the context of the She-Hulk show, you could have characters who were serious and fully developed and awesome kind of go off and do kind of a Monty Python thing, and then, of course, whatever they interacted with or did inside of that show wasn't necessarily canon. Like, for example, if you had Wong come in and, get the Abomination and everything, sure, you've got the silly lens in this show, but if you watched it from any other point in the MCU, like if we saw in Doctor Strange 3, or if we see these characters pop up in like the next Incredible Hulk movie, it would be a serious version of what happened in the events, kind of a retelling, as it were. And I think it could have perfectly been fine like that. But of course, I don't know what the hell they're doing with this, because clearly they just erased the whole entire ending that we were led to believe was going to matter at all. Season 1 would have been a lot better, like I said, had they actually had her talk to Kevin Feige himself, or had they actually nutted up and did the messy, weird ending, because it almost would have felt like she would have earned, like, I don't know what she would have earned, but it would have been a lot better than the ending that we got, where all the steam and all the weight got took out of it. Sure, it would have been messy, sure, it would have been cookie cutter for Marvel, but I think that I would have had a lot more fun watching her bashing Todd Hulk's face while regular Hulk is fighting Abomination, while all that stuff's going on, and then Titania comes into the mix and does some shit too, and then maybe Daredevil would have popped in or something. I don't know. And honestly, as far as a season 2 is concerned, I'm up for a season 2. Even as terrible as the ending of this finale was, I am up for a season 2. Just maybe not try to outsmart your audience, not, go too overly meta, and don't do the same bullshit that you just did with this whole freaking frivolous ending where no stakes happened and she had to talk to the writers and producers of the show to change what was going to happen. That made zero sense. And no, it wasn't as smart as you thought it was going to be. But all in all, guys, again, She-Hulk, I enjoyed it. But with that finale, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Definitely up for a season 2. They just got to learn from their mistakes and not double down on the overly meta bashing of trolls. Anyway, guys, that's all the time that I have for today. Let me know what you thought about the She-Hulk show down in the comments already, whether you agreed with me, disagreed with me, because you liked the show as being woke, or you thought the show was too woke and you think I'm just full of shit. If you dug the video, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are subbed, hit that bell button. That way you never miss a moment of my content. But anyway, guys, that's enough hot air out of me. So until next time, as always, I'm Jay. So take care, and bye.